Charles, it seems every day there's some new mystery unfolding, but I just don't know if they are going to actually prosecute anybody or do anything. But we've got burn bags now. We've got to burn before reading.
Amazing, Jason. I mean, I used to be, and I think we all should be afraid of what the FBI can do if they turn their attention to you. But this is worse than the Keystone Cops, what we're seeing. You know, we have Mary Jo White, I believe, was all, hell-bent for leather to go after Bill Clinton for his pardons of Mark Rich, and I hope for Susan Rosenberg and other people and the Puerto Rican terrorists. But something happened, and they decided, you know what, we're going to yank her out, replace her with Stretch Comey. And Comey, in looking at the Clinton Foundation, had a mission beginning in December. He was informally visiting the Southern District of New York. He began work in January of 2002. Somehow, over the course of many years, Stretch couldn't see obvious fraud of the Clinton Foundation. And then he comes back as FBI director in 2014. And again, in 2015, he and his loopy agents can't see sprawling corruption and pay-to-play activity and charity fraud involving the Clinton Foundation and its many fake entities that were not registered properly in New York City and New York State to be charities. He couldn't see any of that. And now we see the FBI has this policy when they launch an investigation against a politically connected group, you gather the evidence and you put it aside and you burn it. You don't prosecute, you protect your political friends. And this is just outrageous.
I agree. There was this major update today, so I'm just checking to make sure that we're actually going out live right now.
Sure.
I'm not sure that we are. There seems to be some problem. But let's keep going, and we'll deal with it afterwards. But yeah, this burn bag, it's a major issue, I'm sure.
Yeah, and then we have the spectacle of the House and the Senate and other public oversight bodies, in theory, getting to the bottom of things, but there are no prosecutions. So what does this mean? It means that politically connected donors, politically corrupt politicians understand that they're never going to be prosecuted. That's why Pelosi is sitting on top of maybe $1 billion fortune gleaned from insider trading. That's why Hakeem Jeffries can spew his bile and Cory Booker can get up there and make an ass of himself, confirm that he's an ass. Pete Buttigieg can think he's going to be the next president of the United States, having destroyed America's infrastructure as Secretary of Transportation. I mean, we've become a laughingstock of a country, and it's very disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, as is when they make updates to this crap and then it causes the show not to work. But, Charles, it's extremely disappointing. I was speaking earlier with Sal Greco about how there's something going on with a Bally's casino and Eric Adams. And
in New York?
It just seems like everything is a whole lot of talk. 2 hours ago we had this. Mayor Eric Adams nixes city council's action, putting Bally's casino bid back in play. Apparently this has something to do with Trump, and people are saying that, this might be a quid pro quo kind of deal here.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Adams makes African dictators look like they're playing by Marcus of Quisenberry rules. I mean, I look at New York City. Unfortunately, I have to go through the city later this year, and I'm trying to come up with excuses not to do it. I mean, what between the crime, between the corruption, between the fact that the city is a semblance of its former self. These are all reasons that no sane person should want to go there. And, that Eric Adams is not inside a jail cell by now is beyond understanding. And then I'm reading reports, I hope it's fiction, but and fake news. But I'm reading reports that Trump is considering pardoning Diddy.
Diddy. I saw that too. That's another thing. I don't know. Trump is like, he's out the window. I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, and our mutual friend in Russia had a long phone call with her recently, and she was, to say that she wasn't angry, but she was correctly pointing out the many flaws in what America is doing around the world, and it pained me to listen to it because I have to agree with her.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the situation in Europe right now. We're backing a totalitarian government in the UK that is arresting people for thought crimes, that is arresting people who correctly criticize the immigration non-policy of opening the borders in the UK to people who are not vetted, to people who are raping children, committing all kinds of crime. Across Europe, you have these gigantic government bureaucracies. Populations are declining of natural citizens. The businesses are imploding. Bureaucracy is beyond contemptibly large. Deficits are soaring. And Europe is our most important ally at this point. Why are we supporting Europe? I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Trump is also ratcheting up his rhetoric against Russia, giving them 2 weeks. I mean, look, I appreciate Trump, trying to be tough and whatever, but I don't think that Putin probably does. And I mean, why? He's not dealing with a country that can't say no.
And more importantly, sanctions, as Cuba proves, right? The Cuba case example, the test case proves, sanctions merely create a black market. And, if it's important for the sanctioned country to get whatever's been sanctioned, somebody will pay the price and the goods or services will get through to the country. So sanctions don't work, short of a naval and air blockade, which you're not going to implement against a country as large as Russia. So, I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Instead of going in the direction that we're going now with this idiot Kellogg, the special envoy from the cereal company, obviously he's not from the cereal company, but, this idiot general or whatever he is, former general, leading the charge on Ukraine, he's the wrong guy for the job. And Trump evidently doesn't want to understand why Russia did what it did with the special military operation. It's a response to aggression from the UK and the US and Europe into Ukraine, beginning actually before 2014, but everybody focuses on the Maidan uprising. It began long before that. So Trump, frankly, is in the danger zone right now. I don't understand what he and his advisors are doing.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. He's got this 50% tariff on Brazil. I don't know why he's doing that, but I guess he's trying to put pressure on the BRICS nations, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, and a more dangerous thing is that whoever is pushing the Trump, and I don't know if it's this Witkoff guy or the other guy, Lutnick, what they're now trying to do, I think, is they have said, and I think it's tomorrow morning is the deadline, your time, they're going to go after India for buying oil from Russia. And India is already countering and saying, what we're doing is we're buying Russian oil, we're refining it, and providing it to you. In the end, I mean, it's like...
Wow. And meanwhile, he's off opening golf courses and stuff. That really just didn't seem like... how is that allowed? I mean, isn't he kind of advertising something while he's being the president?
Again, I really don't understand it. And the precedent is so dangerous I said in 2016 on Fox News, days after he won, that the Trump family, Melania, every member of the Trump family should put all of their assets in trust, managed by fiduciaries, so that there's no question of any kind of conflict of interest, of personal enrichment while he's president. And obviously, he didn't listen to me. And it's such a simple thing. If you if you appoint the guy I worked for, Dylan Reed, Nick Brady, was the first person to do that when he became Secretary of the Treasury in 1989, I guess it was, or 88. He's not a terribly smart guy, but even he understood that if you're Secretary of the Treasury and you're controlling many important business decisions, you can't also have an active interest in your substantial wealth. Trump doesn't seem to get that, and I don't see why. It would be so easy. Firms would fall over themselves to be the trustee of his empire, and they would have a legal obligation to protect the value of all of his assets. It's not like a trustee would be running his empire into the ground. No, the opposite is the case, and then he would be immune for any of these legal assaults, which I think are going to come.
Yeah,
and to fly over to Scotland. I've been to Scotland. It's a nice place, but it's not the center of the universe. And then open up another 18-hole golf course. Are you kidding me? You're not going to release the Epstein file. You're not going to go as aggressively as you should go against the Ivy League universities. Instead, you're going to get on a plane and open up a second 18-hole golf course in Scotland. What is wrong with you?
It's a big disappointment, Charles. I mean, again, it's like the Epstein thing. He's just basically been ignoring it mostly. If anything, making it worse with this Ghislaine Maxwell. They're floating this notion of pardoning her or commuting her sentence or something like that. She's now making demands as far as what she's going to talk about to speak to Congress.
It's crazy, possibly. Why would you pardon Diddy?
Well, so far that's just been reported in entertainment news. Although I don't know, it seems like these crazy things that they report seem to come true days later.
And where's Laura Loomer? She's been quiet.
I don't know about that. Laura's tweeting away. She was in D.C. Having dinner with Roger Stone. I was interested to see. They seem to have some kind of falling out. I saw them sort of bickering online, but I don't know what Laura's been up to lately. She actually was out early saying this shooting on Park Avenue was related to radical Islamic terrorism. I don't know that there's been really a lot of evidence of that. She says that Zoran Mamdani tweeted, "Ban all guns and defund the police," and then stayed silent about the absurdity of his policies. Yeah, she's been talking a little bit about the shooting on Park Avenue, and also Chuck Schumer got money from Epstein.
I don't think Zoran would be qualified to be a wine waiter at a non-Michelin star rated restaurant in Manhattan. I mean, the guy's a moron.
He really is a very inexperienced guy who I think is a terrible choice on so many levels for mayor. I mean, it's amazing.
It's shocking, and yet it seems like it's inevitable he's going to be mayor.
Well, definitely the media is portraying it that way. It's hard to know. He's backing away from his pledge to disband this counterterrorism unit of the police. I mean, the issue is I don't know that Eric Adams is really any better. I mean, here he is vetoing city hall bills that seem... This is where we're starting to see this quid pro quo potentially play out. Remember, it was Emil Bove who's just been confirmed to the Third Circuit as an appellate judge, and it was him who pushed for this Eric Adams acquittal. If the they said that it was to help ICE and let them into Rikers Island, but that just didn't seem to make too much sense now that we see Eric Adams acting to veto the city council's stopping of this casino. It definitely raises eyebrows. Sal Greco was telling me that the Trump family has some sort of business relationship with that potential casino.
Yeah, it's very distressing. And you look at this, I mean, it's not like this is the first bad mayor we've had. We had de Blasio, what's her name, Tish James, and the DA, what's his name,
Alvin
went
Bragg.
after, Alvin Bragg. I mean, here you have de Blasio's wife is given a fund of $800 million to, I forget what it was, to help the homeless or whatever it was, and that money disappeared. And the team that went after nobody cares about $800 million that disappeared of taxpayer funds in a city that runs a structural deficit, in a state that runs a structural deficit, in a country that runs a structural deficit. But we're going to go back and re-examine Donald Trump's taking out a loan, or his Trump organization taking out a loan that was fully repaid with fees and interest and all that kind of stuff. We're going to re-examine that. But we don't give a shit about the mayor's wife who hives off $800 million. What kind of a message does that send to future scoundrels who look at public service, Pete Buttigieg and others, as a way to amass massive wealth? You have AOC sitting there now paying a small fine, $2,000 fine. She should pay $250,000 fine, but it's $2,000 for the Eat the Rich dress that she rented for a pittance to show up at a gala that costs $30,000 normally to get into. She has this dress, Eat the Rich. This is simply sending a message to the captured elites inside inside New York City that you better pay me off. Otherwise, we're going to audit you, we're going to hound you, we're going to lawfare you. That's what New York City has become.
Yeah.
And, I'm very happy I left.
Yeah. Who is this next to doing jeans advertisement with that dress? Yeah, Charles, it's just, that's what I mean. We're off a cliff here. By the way, you probably know this, but your pal Nick Brady is 95. Good
I know.
him.
My cousin. Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, well, distant, yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, he's 95. So good genes, Charles. People are going crazy over the good genes ad. Nobody cares about the 800 million. It's astounding.
It truly is. And, honestly, as I think about, New York City and Lagos, I think Lagos might be safer. And Lagos was a place where you just didn't go in the 70s. But now it probably is safer.
Boko Haram not hanging out there?
It's a big, huge city. But, there's that place, there's a comedy show, Bob Hart's Abishola.
Yeah.
Which I think is finished by now, but it showcases Nigerian humor. And Nigerian people apparently are very, very funny. Not so much in New York City. I mean, New York City is a place of crime and anger, edginess, expensiveness. And, here Eric Adams and others are going to talk about it. It's the best city on earth. In what universe?
Yeah.
It's the black hole of Calcutta, the black hole of Manhattan. Not because the mayor is black. It's a mess.
It's a bad mess. So the GDP surged 3%. People were happy about that, I guess. I don't know. Everything still seems more expensive.
Well, from an economic standpoint, from an economic standpoint, um, the, America is the most important integrated market on earth. If you're in business and you are not involved in America, you're not in a real business. Trump is making sure that larger businesses have to invest inside America, and so things are going okay on an economic front, but on a personal and political front, Trump is, he used to have this adage under Bannon. Bannon held him to account and said, we better remember the promises we made and keep them. And instead of doing that, Trump is he's not going to lose his base in a week. But if he keeps up with this bullshit,
he's going to be himself. The Epstein thing has been a big deal, I think.
Yeah. Now, on a positive front, I was concerned that Trump was pushing Europe to increase military spending to 5% of GDP, which is a big number. I think we're more like 2 in the U.S., or even 1 actually. Push people to 5. Maybe we're.
Isn't that what he said? Isn't that what he said he did?
Yeah, but now what I hear though is that he's going to potentially reduce our military footprint in Europe by 30%. Now that's a very good thing if we're actually doing that. We're saying to Europe, you pay more for your own defense, and by the way, we're bringing our troops home. That's great, and that should actually be reassuring to Russia, because if we kept our military footprint, pushed Europeans to increase military spending to 5% of GDP, I'd be sitting, push Sweden and Finland into NATO. As Russia, I'd be saying, what the hell is the U.S. trying to do now?
Yeah.
So that's good.
I don't know if you saw this little tidbit, Charles, but apparently somebody in Virginia, GOP lawmaker, was doused in gasoline and set on fire in his office.
What?
Yeah, bad day at work, I would say.
What race?
A Danville, Virginia city councilman, Lee Vagler, was doused in gasoline and set on fire in his office on Tuesday. According to reports, the attacker, identified as Shotzi Michael Buck Hayes, 29, of Danville, threw 5 gallons of gasoline on him before setting him on fire. How did he have time to do all that? Daily Mail reported that Shotzi Hayes' wife filed for divorce just 2 weeks ago. So, of course, the first thing you do is get 5 gallons of gasoline and throw it on the guy.
Well, how do you sit there and take 5 gallons?
You think it would take a minute, right?
More than a minute. 5 gallons?
It seems like a lot. It's a strange story. I don't know what to make of that. But here, this looks like Shotzi. Yeah, he's a white guy. And his wife filed for divorce. She was just tired of him dumping gasoline on people, I guess.
Well, that stupid hat he's wearing.
Yeah.
He's a scruffy.
29.
He's a wokester.
What kind of name is Shotzi?
I don't know. Shithead. It was translated from the. No, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, so Charles, we're ready to go to the First Amendment Forum, but again, I don't seem to quite have this problem worked out because this segment wasn't live. So let's stop for now and let me see if I can figure it out, and then we'll decide if we continue. We really haven't had a chance to talk about this burned room, secret room with the burn bag. So let me get this going and we'll carry on. But let's stop for now and we'll be back in